Hello, scholars. Um, so we've been doing a lot of work with ratios. And now we've gone from recipes and like different tints with different colors. Now we're looking at like per, using that understanding of per. Like, for example, for per or like for each, dealing with like buying things. So like when you go to the corner store and it says $5 for 4 oranges, right? We want to figure out how much it costs per orange for each orange. So let's see what we can do. So as I said, we're looking at per, which means like for each, right? And so we're seeing like how that can trans, like relate to today's lesson. So in this, it says 4 movie tickets cost $48. What is the cost of 5 movie tickets and 11 movie tickets? So what do we know? We know 4 movie tickets cost $48. And we need to find this, right? However, we could do math to just figure this out. But if we figure out the unit rate, which is the amount per one item, in this situation, per one ticket, then we can figure out how much it costs for 5 or 11. And we're going to look at that using the double number line. And I'm going to also push your thinking to look at it using a table, okay? Because we want to look at things multiple ways. So when you create your double number line, first you want to figure out what are you comparing, right? We're comparing movie tickets to cost in dollars, right? So this line is the line for movie tickets. This line is the line for how much it costs. So for example, and the top could be amount, right? Or like the batch, right? So for 0 movie tickets, it costs $0. Based on what we know for 4 movie tickets, it costs $48. But we don't know how much 1 movie ticket costs. We're looking for how much 5 movie tickets cost, and we're looking for how much 11 movie tickets cost. And in today's lesson, we're going to figure this out. Now, what do we know? We know that 4 tickets, right, cost $48. We don't know how much 1 ticket costs, but we know that using equivalent ratios, we can figure this out. To get from 4 to 1, I need to divide by 4 because I'm going from a big number to a small number. What I do on the top, I got to do on the bottom. So I also have to divide by 4 here. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 48 divided by 4 is 12. Now, this is so important because that tells me that for each movie ticket, it costs $12. Now, you gotta ask yourself, to go from 1 to 4, you multiply by 4. To go from 1 to 5, you multiply by 5. And what we do on the bottom, well, be on the top, you gotta do on the bottom. So if 1 times 5 is 5, 12 times 5 is 60, which means that for 5 movie tickets, it cost $60. See what I did? I found the unit rate or the amount per ticket and scale. Now, to get from 1 to 11, you have to multiply times 11, right? And so thus you have to multiply 12 times 11. And 12 times 11, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 131. Oops, 132. So for 11 movie tickets, it costs $132. I want to show you here how you can use a table to figure this out. So we're comparing tickets to price. We always start with our original ratio, which is 4 tickets cost $48. When we're figuring this out, we want to do a few things. We want to find out the cost of 1 ticket to help us find the cost of 5 tickets and to help us find the cost of 11 tickets. To get from 4 to 1, you divide by 4. And what you do on one side, you do on the other. 48 divided by 4 is 12, right? To get from 4, I'm sorry, it's hard to go from 4 to 5, so we can go from 1 to 5. To go from 1 to 5, you have to multiply it by 5. And 12 times 5, you see how I'm multiplying by 5 on both sides, is 60. It's hard to go from 5 to 11, so to go from 1 to 11, we have to multiply by 11. And since for 1 it costs 12, you have to multiply 12 times 11, and you get 132. So you saw this both ways. Now, you can use either way to help you answer this. You have to solve these. So it's 12 eggs for $3. How much per egg, right? For 1 egg, right? How much for 1 egg? So it's 3 pounds for $7.50. How much per 1 pound? Four rolls cost $2. How much per, right? Per each. How much for 1 roll? And 10 apples for $3.50. How much for 1 apple? I'll set you up for this one. Start with no. What are you comparing? Okay, egg to price. What information do you know? You know that 12 eggs cost $3. And it's saying how much for 1 egg. How do you get from 12 to 1? What you do on one side, you do on the other. Do that for this one, do that for that one, and do that for that one. You could also use a double number line. Figure it out. You got this. All right. Now let's look at this problem. The ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 2. The 3 represents the boys, the 2 represents the girls. Right? Which is correct? Circle all. which means there are more than one answer. What do we know? We know that there are 3 boys for every 2 girls. We're trying to find all correct answers. And when we do like these select alls, we like to do a table. In this table, we're comparing boys to girls. And we want to start with our original ratio. We know there are 3 boys for every 2 girls. And we want to set it up. A, B, C, D, and E. For every 3 boys, there are 2 girls. So under boys, you want to put 3, and the girls, you want to put 2. That is correct because the ratio is the same. So A is correct. For every 2 boys, under boys, you put 2, there are 3 girls. That is incorrect because the ratio is switched, so that's incorrect. C, there are actually 5 students in the class. Exactly 5 is not true. Now, for every 5 students, there will be 3 to 2, but that doesn't mean that there are exactly 5 students. That means if there are 30 students and the ratio is 3 to 2, you can use that ratio to determine how many girls or how many boys. So not logical. The ratio of the number of boys to the total number of students. This is talking about total. Whenever you hear a problem that brings up total, it looks like you have to bring up another. Watch this. Total, total, total. You see how I brought up another column or another row? Another column? I think that's a column. Yeah, column. So 3 plus 2 is 5, right? So D says the ratio of the total number of boys. So there are in a class, the total number of students is 3 to 5. Um, there are 3 boys and there are 5 students, right? You see how that's different than exactly? Exactly is saying like of all, like in the entire class, there's just 5. But this is saying like the total, right, number of boys to the total number of students, the ratio is 3 to 5. That means if there is another number, you could use that ratio to help you scale down or scale up. So that is correct. Do you see how there are 3 boys and for every total, which is 5? D is correct. The ratio of the number of students in the class to the number of girls is 5 to 2. So students is first and the number is 5. So students will go in the total and girls is 2. So there'll be 2 girls. Yeah, 2 goes with 2, 5 goes with 5. So E is correct. Go ahead and pause, rewind if you need to. Talk to your parents. Like, why did I bring up total? Where in this helped me understand that I needed to bring up total? Why is this exactly the reason? Like, why is exactly the reason why it's incorrect as opposed to like total numbers, right? Find the area of the parallelogram. And what is the area of the triangles? Okay, so I know when I'm dealing with parallelograms, I know I have a base and I know I can create a height at a right angle. I can't use this for my base, but I can use it for my height. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So base times height would be 3 times 6. Although it shows two different triangles, it's asking for a parallelogram. So this is together. 3 times 6 is 18 units squared. Part B. What is the area of one of the triangles? Huh. Well, we know two equal area triangles create a parallelogram. So I can just literally say the the area is 18 divided by 2 is 9 units squared. If you needed help, you could also decompose this and move this over here to create a full rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 3. You see that? You could have did it multiple ways, but and it says triangle. We know it's half, so we just divide it by 2. You are to answer these 2 questions for your homework. You are also to fill out this. This is really, really, really important. Okay. All right. Bye. Don't be afraid to rewind, pause. If you have a question, write it down. Bye bye.